About 40 and a half. 43 and a quarter-ish. Wheels are off. Step one, take the track bar off. There we go. That was easy up until it wasn't. Oh, yeah. Back to beating. There we go. Kind of just gotta beat it out. Forgot to mention, 1 3/16. Now, gotta get this side out. Right here. We'll figure out what size that is. Let's see. 24, 24. There we go. All right, we got her out. This probably just gonna become trash, but keep it over here. Now, move. Now I gotta get all the lines off of there. There's this guy, vacuum line right here. This little tab you just gotta pull out. There's one line out. 13mm bolt up here. $10mm. Apparently, there's a little retaining clip in here. There we go. Now this, gotta cut off 30-year-old Dremel. Bend this sucker. Okay. This guy out of there. There we go. Next step is to get this sway bar off. 15mm for all those bolts. Get after it.
The sway bar up here from the frame, it's a 15mm bolt.
Hey.
Hey, I didn't want to really bother you, but
Okay, hang on. Okay, so that was a nightmare, but we got them off. I don't know why. but they just completely bound up and the nuts would not come off. It's supposed to look like that. Now one of them looks like this. So, gonna need a new one. Now it's time to get these shocks off. It's got a little bracket thing there, so it won't spin. You can just go at it on the bottom there. I don't know what size that is, so we're just gonna see what fits on there. 24? Way too big. It's probably gonna be way too big too. Yeah. 19? No, too big. It's an 18. It's an 18. Hopefully this fits. Oh. Of course it doesn't. Fuck. Can we do a wobble socket? Even the wobble socket won't fit. Oh. It's not gonna work. Oh. Oh. All right. We got those bolts out of the shocks on the bottom. Now, everything should have enough play for us to lower the axle a little bit and get these bad boys out of here. I heard something. Oh, this. Okay, so we got that one loose. What's this one? Oh. Oh. Ah. Need to drop it a little more. It's a good place to stop. Day 2. Early in the morning, and here's where we left off. Got those big springs out. Disconnected this bastard. Every video I watch, it just comes right out, but for some reason, it got all bound up, and these nuts stopped coming. And we managed to break the bracket here. So, gonna have to get a new one of these. Oh, didn't even notice, but this one's all kind of fucked up too, so we'll need another one. But we'll just keep going. Next step, getting the top bolt off here, taking those shocks out, and then we go and remove the bump stop. Oh, we also had to take this line off. Little clip up over there. And I mean, obviously we went and broke that guy off. So we'll need another one of those to clip that back in there when we're done. Let's get started on those shocks. Alright, so to get these off, I'm gonna move this out of the way. Oh, it's on that. Okay, I'm gonna have to figure out how to get that off, but it's a 13/16, and you gotta hold this with something so it doesn't spin. you're wondering why I can't just get a freaking socket on there, because this clip for this line, so damn tight, can't get it off. So I'm just gonna have to let the nut push it up as we go. Little update. We went over to the passenger side because the driver's side was pissing me off. But same story. We got the nut up maybe a third of the way and it just got stuck. We just got the Sawzall, cut her off, got the nut off. Anyways, let's go do the other side. Yeah. There we go. Well, oh, that hurts. Next step, you have to get the bump stops out of there. This thing, there she goes. Do that on the other side. Now it's time to take these suckers out of here. 15/16. Oh, of course. Yeah. Damn it. Okay, yeah. That's loose. Got those bolts out. You just had to keep unthreading them. And then bang that one out. We just lift this thing out. Okay. There she is. There we go. We got new bolt, new washer, or nut, some washers, old bolt. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the top one first, I think. You motherfucker. You motherfucker. So, can't just put that in first because this little thing right here blocks it. So we're gonna have to undo that. Okay, so the problem is that when we took the old radius arm out and let the axle rotate back, so now these bolts don't line up. I can't rotate this up to get that one in because it hits this first. So I'm thinking maybe I bolt the back up and then we try and figure out how to get this moving backwards. So sort of halfway into getting this radius arm on. You can see I was a dumbass. I was trying to use the straps and take this up and down to get that little bit of movement to line up the top bolt. But obviously, since that back radius arm is still connected at those 2 points, you're not gonna get any rotation in there. So take that top bolt out so we can get a little movement in the axle to get this one in. 15/16. Yeah. Top bolt is out. Just clicked in the strap a few times and we're all lined up. Oh, just dropping sockets everywhere. Getting it nice and snug. Gonna go back and tighten this up. So this is 1 inch and 1/16. I think we'll do the back. On the other side, the back bolt had a little cut. It was like cut slanted on the end. So it's pretty easy to tell which one was the back bolt. For some reason on this side it's not. But we took all the front bolts off, reused one. So we have one from the other side, two from this side. Three should be the same. One should be different for the back. You can see all of these, the threads come up a little further than this one. So this one's got to be our back bolt. And then for the nut on the back one, it's a little bigger. It's going to be 1 1/16. So too small. There we go. Back nut. And we reuse one of the nuts here. This one looks kind of shitty, so we're gonna toss that one. This will be the top nut. Reuse this guy, toss these, and then we got our new hardware. But the diff has like a flange that comes out. You can't get the radius arm over. This one looks like you can do whatever the fuck you want. So that's what we're gonna do. Another important thing, the radius arms are specific to the side. So the driver's side has a notch on the top, like a little cut there. This one doesn't. So passenger side, we're good. You can tell top from bottom because of the way it is. But also, there's a little slot for the cams to fit in. We'll go ahead and get this guy in there. But we can. Siri, I'm going to kill you. If you're doing less than 3 inches, the hole on the cam faces the back. If you had a higher lift, like a 4 or more, you put it facing the front. So don't fuck that up, because that'll be really annoying to go back and change. So I'm putting this on the back. Change of plans, the top one's lining up, so we're gonna get that in. Oh, there we go. Now,
here's what I found.
We're gonna, Siri, if you try and search what I'm saying on Google one more time, I'm gonna throw you in a lake. The current issue, that hole's not really lined up. What I've seen people do is they go back to the other side, undo the back bolt and let it drop, and that'll let your axle sort of come back. Might be what I have to do, probably what I have to do. I'm gonna see if I can just muscle it. First, I'm gonna get the top bolt all the way through. We're in there. We're gonna have to go and undo that other side. I'm hot as hell, so I'm gonna go get a cut off. All right, I just had a bright idea. This is only attached there. So when it gets lowered, this bottom part is gonna come this way. So I'm gonna be able to line it up. If I drop this one, this side a little bit, we'll try it. We'll see. I'll set you up. Watch that for me.
All right then. I'm here if you need me.
Oh, a little bit. Oh, there we go. Let's see. Can we even get her in there? No. No, obviously not. Okay. Try dropping a little bit more. And make sure again, our hole's going back. Okay, so the little cam plate right here doesn't quite want to go. So I'm just gonna get everything in on the back side as best I can. I'm just gonna thread the nut on a little bit and then we'll try and fuck with this a little more. Try and lower this a little bit, see if we get a little more. Okay, looks like we got worse. So we're gonna lift it up, see if that does anything. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, we're closer. There we go. Okay. Now we can tighten everything up. We still have to get the nut on the back of that top bolt. All right. Next step is going to be torquing this all down. I think it's 240. I'm going to go read the instructions. 240 foot-pounds. All right, so 240. We've got the front hardware on each side torqued down to 240, I think. I say I think because this thing, this torque wrench, is a piece of shit. It was not clicking. Performance tools. Performance like a turd. So, on to the next step. A little bit of a conundrum here. You take the bump stops off and then you're supposed to install a spacer with the new 8mm hardware. So this is the hardware. 696. Comes with 2 bolts, washers, then these. They do not thread in. They're way smaller. Not sure what these are for, but I guess I'm not going to use them. Oh, and you're also supposed to cut the edge off of these to get more clearance. Sounds like a pain in the ass. So I'll just put them in and we'll see if we feel like doing that. Bump stops in. What's next? When you get those little donuts in there, it wants you to raise the axle up and press them in. I don't know if I'm gonna do that, guys. I don't really want to do that. So if these things fall out, I'll get new ones. Next step, we're putting all the suspension, the new suspension stuff in the front. So you can get some shocks. If you get the Fox ones, you gotta press these bushings in, and then, at least for mine, you gotta make sure to use the bigger sleeves. You get two. One of them's gonna be smaller, and the bolt for the lower part of the shock doesn't fit through. So gotta use a bigger one so you can put it in. All right, we're gonna see if the axle's low enough to get the new coils in there. And just looking at it, yeah, we're gonna need a good bit. Again. I think I'll get this in here. Nope. Oh man. Oh. Oh, okay. It's hard to see with all these lines in the way. Let's see. Oh, a little more. It's gotta be it. So we've still got plenty of play in these lines. This one over here. Oh. Oh. Lift her back up. I should have done the other side before I brought that up all the way. I think I can get it. Oh, there we go. Now we're gonna try and get those shocks in there. Oh. And on the bottom. Oh. This on the top. Washer. Nut. Okay. We have to raise this axle up a bit. I'm gonna clamp this down so it doesn't start running into the bottom hardware here. crank it a little more. Yeah, perfect. And you're gonna reuse your factory shit on the bottom. Anyone see where I put my little, oh, here it is. Just gonna get it nice and tight. A little chalked, but we got a 19 for the torque wrench. Okay, good enough. Do the same on the other side. Figured out the top one, 19 millimeters. That's 18. That's 19. Don't know why they couldn't just make it 18, but the theme of this job is need a lot of freaking sockets. So there's no torque spec given for this, so they just say tighten it till the bushings start to squish. So just gonna play it by ear. You also have to hold this so it doesn't spin. Oh, yeah, it's gonna take a while. So we'll get back when that's done. Hot as fuck, 90. After I got all this stuff in here, I was thinking, huh, it really doesn't seem like it sat in there right. I realized because I never switched over this top mounting thing. There's like a little track in it. And it holds the spring. It doesn't let this rotate. So I had to take all this off, both sides, lower the axle down again, do all that over. So that was maybe an hour and a half down the drain, redoing all that. But one step closer. Okay, so we've just gotten this new brake line bracket on. Next step after we get all this shit in is put all the lines back where they go. Not gonna lie, this was a pain. This was kind of a pain in the ass to bend the brake line to the right spot. I had to put the brake line under a little bit of tension to get this in here. So it wasn't perfectly bent so that it would stay here without the bracket. But next we are going to remove the factory thing here and attach the one that the kit came with. Thinking this will, yeah, that'll clip in there. Factory one's too big. Carefully snip this off. Get a new one on. Okay, there we go. Now, I did break this thing, this factory one. BDS does not give you a replacement, but I went to a Ford dealer and got some, so I'm gonna go get that. So that line has to go up into that hole right there. Thinking I'll try this one first. That's too small. Also too small. Will that fuck things up in the future? Who knows? We'll find out. Day 4. Tragic. So, I had a different problem with the track bar, which we'll get into when we get to that. But I couldn't help but notice, ever so slightly, rotate it this way, forward. And then if you look, the spring is a little bowed. So, since I was already calling BDS up anyways, I asked him about it. And the track bar, that's their fault, it pissed me off. But this is on me. I did not read the instructions carefully enough. So apparently, remember these little cams? How we put it in the back? The back is for the lower lift kits. Well, it also says point the hole forwards for 4" and up, or when the front shocks are longer than 23 inches. And when you get the Fox shocks, they are 23.75 inches. So we have to undo all the stuff that we've already done twice because I'm an idiot. Oh. Okay, so we're off the springs. Luckily, I completely forgot what size all this shit is, so let's go get some more sockets. See if we can break this bolt loose with pure strength like the fucking monkey we are.
Sorry, I don't understand.
I'm gonna throw you in the lake, Siri. Put that back in. Oh! Wait. Springs down, both back bolts are out. And it's just a matter of getting enough play. So, when you get the opposite side and you bring it down, this axle is gonna be able to tilt more upright again. And it wants to, because if you just scoot this jack this way, it'll keep dropping down. So we're just trying to get that hole to move forward a little bit. Move this back a bit. That might be too much. We'll go check. Lift this up, there we go. Now, we get the back side in.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Siri, I swear to God, Now, let me get this hole lined up. Right there. Okay, hole forward. So, this will line up if we lift that. Try to do this one-handed. It's not the easiest. Oh, it's just there. Oh, okay. We're almost there. But the harder I push on this thing, it's not lining up anymore. Oh, it's right there. Not enough room down here for both of us. You have to think of something else. Well, let's see if that changed anything. I don't even know if I broke that bolt, but... Okay. Oh, we're in. Oh my God. Oh. All right, now I just gotta get these top ones in. It's probably be a pain in the ass, but we're way too far forward. I win. Oh, yeah. Don't fuck with me. Oh man, we did it. We're back to where we started. Get over here. Okay, I'm soaked. We did it. Every single bolt is in there. Now we just torque down the front ones. Oh, that nut's off, whatever. Let's get her up a bit. Put the shocks in, see how it looks. Day 5, embarrassingly enough. Some of it wasn't my fault. Yesterday we couldn't really work all that much because it started raining. That's really what I wanted to avoid. Is it's supposed to rain off and on the rest of the week except for today. we're gonna try and finish it up today. The next step, track bar. This is why we couldn't work really for most of Sunday, because just like the shocks, I didn't show you the front shocks, but I guess I'll shoot putting the sleeves into the back shocks. But you gotta press a bushing in and then a sleeve into the bushing. But they sent me either an oversized bushing set or an oversized sleeve. Fits the bolt pretty well. But this was not pressing in. And I even threw this in the freezer for a couple hours to try and get it to shrink down. And that that son of a gun was not going in there. So I couldn't call them because it was the weekend. So I just ended up taking a Dremel to the inside of this bushing once I got it in here and just sanding it down until I could smack this in there. So not ideal that we had to sand down the bushing, but whatever. They told me that they would send me a replacement set of bushings. So I'll have extras sitting around. We've got to get this to 37 3/8 inches or something like that long. Then we Loctite these guys and throw her in there. So let's get after it. Just resting on the sway bar for now. Okay. Got that in there. Now we'll try and get the bolt in there. We have to smack it in there with the hammer. And we gotta get the axle to come this way a little bit. Too thick. Seems just a little too thick to just bang in there. So what I'm gonna try and do is get the Dremel in there with the wire wheel, maybe clean up some of the rust in there. See if we can get just a little bit of extra wiggle room. Because I'm trying to avoid sanding down the outside of the bushings too. While I was over there measuring it again, I made sure to smash the shit out of the bushings, try and get them as seated as possible.
You'll need an app for me to help with that. Try searching in the Apple Watch app on your phone.
Siri, I swear to God. Yeah, we could probably smash it in like this, but we're still off a little bit, so I don't think this ratchet strap is gonna cut it to give us any more room here, so I'm gonna have to go get a more heavy duty one. So we went and got heavier duty ratchet strap. We've got a bit of a pickle after rereading the instructions. It wants you to leave the track bar unattached. And then you put everything else in, you lower it to the ground, and then you put the track bar in. Now, I would love to skip fucking around with this thing and the strap and all that. The video I watched, they did what I'm trying to do right now. They got the ratchet strap to move it over, get the track bar in before putting it on the ground. So I don't know, bit of a pickle. But I feel like if I tighten that strap down anymore, it's just gonna snap and that hook's gonna fly into my face and take my eye out. So I guess I will follow the directions, take that strap off, put everything on the ground, and then put the track bar in. Couldn't really figure out what I wanted to do, so in the meantime, we're gonna put the sway bar on. I got a bunch of new bolts from Ford. $5 each, $6. Even with the brand new bolts, these are really fucking hard to thread on there. So I don't know what's going on with mine. Maybe my nuts are out of spec. But every single video I see, these go on and come off like butter. I do have to find the nuts that went here though. I don't know where those went. So you just gotta hold this up there, thread these on. It's kind of a pain in the ass. You can't get anything in there, so you just have to wrench them on. Half turn by half turn. So see you guys in about 45 minutes. My apologies. The sway bar was really pissing me off, so I did not film anything since the last little clip. But you can see, truck is back on the ground. So all we did was we torqued everything up. We torqued the front bolts on the radius arms, the shocks. We did these. The sway bar drop brackets were a pain in the ass. I will say that. Because you can't get any kind of socket in here to tighten these down. So we just had to take a crescent wrench, do them by hand. And like I said, for whatever reason, my bolts do not want to thread these nuts. It tells you to tighten these down to 35 foot-pounds, but I can guarantee you I was putting a lot more than 35 foot-pounds into these just to get them flush. So those are tight as shit. Same with these, because the bushings sort of popped out of the brackets when I was taking them off. So in order to get them back in, we had to put a lot of torque into these. So I just took an impact to these until they were flush. Seems good. We're gonna put paint lines on all these, make sure they stay tight. We already put paint lines on all the bolts on the radius arms and the shocks on the other side, so we can check those. But yeah, we got these drop brackets on, put the sway bar on, attached the track bar at this end, and then to get the track bar in, I dropped the truck down, and honestly, when you get it on the ground on the wheels, you can just turn the wheel and the axle will go back and forth. You know, it's pretty easy to get that in there. But I had to sand these down quite a bit just to even to be able to bash this in here with a hammer. So I don't know what that was about. But now is the fun part where I have to get this to 406 foot-pounds. And then I have to get the grease zerk in there, and I have to take these out and Loctite them. So I think you were supposed to do that before you put this in, but oh well. I'm just gonna take them out one at a time and put Loctite up in there. So we'll see how that goes. So as you can see, there's some Loctite up in there. Just tighten them down really tight. We have that down to 405 foot-pounds, this big boy. And don't even try under the truck. You can, I mean, depending on what you've got, you can sneak it in there, get it on the bolt, and you have one ratchet that you can work with. between the wheel and the fender. So you just go very slowly. But we got that nice and tight. So front end is all done. 100% done. Looking good. Bad news, everybody. We got everything in there. Took it on a test drive. And the steering, the steering was all messed up. Felt horrible. The steering wheel was like all the way to the passenger side when I was going down this slight curve in the road. I mean, nothing broke. The torque lines are still lined up, but the steering was awful. Thought maybe this is a drag link because I didn't touch that at all. So we got in there and adjusted the drag link a little bit. It kind of helped, but the main issues were still there. When you were sitting in the truck in park steering, the whole front end would tilt towards the direction you're steering in. And then I got under it and I could see the front end was shifting a little bit side to side and the axle was kind of tilting. Could not really find anything online about this, by the way. This being so fucking tight might be an issue. I kind of doubt that is causing everything, but for now, I called them and I asked for the spec on this, the width. And the guy, he said that from the drawing, he couldn't really tell if the spec was for the bushings installed or not. But he said it was 1.38 to 1.48 inches. This track bar itself, without the bushings, 1.5. So either way, it's too wide. So we gotta get in there and take out our newly torqued to 1,000,000 foot-pounds bolt and nut off and grind down the bushings a little more, because I got new bushings because the bushings themselves are out of spec. Remember, I had to sand out the inside just to get the sleeve in. So the new bushings got here. I'm not gonna put them in because I'm gonna need a new track bar, most likely. So I don't wanna waste the new bushings. For now, I'm just gonna sand those down more to get it to move in there freely and see if that fixes it. Because if that's not the issue, then the next step is probably going to be playing with the length of the track bar. And I'm gonna have to figure out a good way to measure if the axle is centered or not. Looks like the wheels are turned a little bit. I'm gonna have to get these straight, turn them a little bit this way. So I was gonna not jump in there and show you because I didn't want to, fuck up the steering anymore, but I'll show you. Oh, okay. All right, pay attention. I don't know if that comes across on camera, but when we steer to the passenger side, we tilt this way. When we steer to the driver's side, we tilt the other way. Rear tires off. I didn't show it on the front, so I guess I'll take a video of pressing the bushings in on the shocks. Rear shocks. Unlike the fronts will just have a post. Fronts will just have a post that screws on up here. These have two bushings that you have to press in. You can use grease. I'm using silicone spray. Seems to work pretty good. So, only one of these bushings will actually fit this sleeve in. You can see this one's a little bigger, so that's where the sleeve will go. So yeah, I mean, you can get that in there without even trying. And that one goes on the bottom here. There we go. There you go. Top bushing, same thing. Now another way to do this is you can get a vise and press it in there once you have it started. This top one's a little bit more of a bastard. There we go. Running a bit short on time, so I forgot to take a video of me taking the rear shocks out, but it's just an 18 on the bottom and the top. Take them out, shocks will just fall out, or you might have to bump them out a bit. Now, next what you gotta do is, I'll film it on the driver's side, but start on the passenger, and you take the U-bolts out from the leaf springs. Those are 15/16ths, and you just take the bracket off, take the U-bolts off, and then you're gonna put C-clamps on the leaves to hold them. Then you're gonna loosen the nut, and once that's loose, you're gonna lower the axle enough so that you could take factory bolt out. It's pretty long, so I don't know just how low we're gonna have to get it, but we'll see how this goes. Hoping that I jacked it up enough to even give the axle that much room to drop down, but we'll see. Okay, we got the new stuff here. I see. All right, we gotta drop the axle and then get in there and hold it. That's probably good. Okay. Now, I guess I'm gonna grab onto the center pin with these. I'll let that soak in. Come back later. Well, good morning. We got rained out and work on this fucker at all. That's where we left off. We clamped down the leaf spring. You always see people tell you to do this, clamp down the fucking spring, and you take the center pin right out. Now, like just about everything else in this damn truck, the center pin was not easy. I clamped those down. They, I guess, didn't clamp hard enough, or maybe it's harder when you got all the extra springs. Sometimes I usually see people only with the 3. I think that's the 250. I don't know. But what the fuck was I saying? The center pin was in there. I spent maybe an hour and a half dicking with that thing, trying to get it out, pounding it, jacking this up and down and getting a pry bar, and it was a nightmare. I mean, we did get it out. See it right there. But could not get the new one in, of course, because there's like no way you're gonna see that. Let me see. You're just gonna have to take my word for it. The leaves, they all shifted. So they're like, you know, we can get about that far. It's further than I thought, from the top at least. From the bottom, it was going in like just that one. So I'm gonna try pounding this in from the top to try and get them aligned. I'm gonna loosen these up, pound that in, see if I can get them aligned, and then re-clamp it. Let's see if we can clamp them straight to get the new pin in. The issue is I'm a little worried that once I hammer that in there, it's just gonna get stuck again, and I'm gonna be pissed off. And if I get it stuck from the top, how the fuck am I gonna get that out? We'll have to take the whole leaf off, which I don't want to do. It's like I only have one of these. I'm not sure if you're supposed to have two. I thought I usually saw another one on this side, but I don't got one. Tell me if that's normal. Oh, okay. I mean, they probably didn't miss it on both sides, right? Good morning, neighbors. You're gonna hear a bit of fucking pounding in a bit. Sorry. Okay. Here's the new bolt we put through the middle with a little block. You put the bolt through the block from the bottom, and then you nut. They give you a bunch of new nuts. I really wasn't sure which one, because they all thread onto this center bolt. So all the leaves weren't lining up. So what we did was drop the axle down. We let these come all the way down. Then we loosened these C-clamps a little bit and sort of hammered this guy in. And that's gonna line us up. Now, I tightened the C-clamps up. We're gonna see if this will fit through. Of course, it doesn't. So, we're gonna try and do the same thing again. Obviously, be a little more careful with this guy because I don't want to strip the threads on the bolt I'm actually be using. We're in there. Now we're gonna tighten everything up. Make sure nothing shifts. Oh, okay. I would say we're reasonably tight. Now, I'm not sure what the best approach here is. I was gonna try and drop the axle enough so that we have room to sort of slip this in under. But we would need quite a bit more drop. Now, I want to try and get this block in here and push the springs up. I'm not sure if these clamps are actually going to be enough to hold these in position when we lift it up with the block of wood. So, first I'm going to try dropping the axle, see if we can get enough room. Yes, we need a lot more. And I'll be honest, I don't know if we can even get enough. Okay, we're just about there. So I'm gonna try getting these leaf springs up just a little. I really don't want to drop the axle anymore. Just need a little bit. There we go. Now let's see if this will just come right in. Okay. Nice. Now okay. Got that nice and tight. And now I have to read the instructions again. Yeah. Now it wants us to release the C clamps. We get the OE block in there. Let the leaves down. All right. Now we gotta lift the axle back up, and we gotta hope that this bolt head lines up with that. If not, we're gonna have to fuck with it a little bit. So. Let's check, see if we're lining up. Not quite. Man, it's close. Maybe fine. Yeah. Okay. I think that's it. So all I did there, this hole was a little further back than the top of that bolt. So I just grabbed the end of here and pulled up a little bit. Got that bolt seated. Now we put the U-bolts back in. Center bolt's an 18 mil. It looks like the new U-bolt bolts are the same size as the factory ones, 15/16. So put the U-bolts back on there, you put washers on, and then the nuts. Hopefully it just comes off, but it won't. You son of a bitch. I'm an idiot, so I almost forgot to get these on there. That was almost very stupid. Well, it's already very stupid, but it's almost more stupid than it had to be. Like this. Yeah. Okay. That's the ticket. Get them in over the middle here. And then you just... All right. Oh. Good enough. You know what? I'll leave these things off because I'm getting new wheels and tires anyways. So do the same for the passenger side. Good morning. So last night we finished her up. Got the, let's see if we can see it. Got the block in there. U-bolts, still have to torque those. You're not supposed to torque them until you're on the ground. I took this for a test drive when I had all the front end done, but the back was still old shocks, no lift. And the steering was horrible. There were some problems. So I was still messing around with the track bar a little bit, shaving it down so it's not binding up there. So we still have to tighten that bolt, torque it to 406. Another thing I was thinking is I just tightened the shit out of the sway bar brackets to suck the bushings back into them. But you really want this to be able to swing up and down without binding at the bushing. So what we're gonna have to do is undo the nuts at the end links for the sway bar and then make sure that we can grab that and move it up and down without binding at the bushings. So it's one last test to do on the sway bar, and I'm going to do my best to measure the axle, figure out if it's, I mean, the alignment shop will do that, but I have to go and get the new wheels and tires before then. So I'm gonna be driving like 10 miles. So I'm gonna try and get this as aligned as I can so I don't fuck anything up driving, except to drive north to get the wheels and tires, and I have to drive back here and then south to the alignment shop. So overall it'll be 15 miles, 20 miles of driving without an alignment. So really all that's left to do is make sure the sway bar is doing what it should be doing, torque down the track bar, figure out if the track bar is long or short, and then depending on how off it is, break the Loctite on those collar screws and adjust the collar. Okay, so we're gonna take the nut off of the sway bar end links here on both sides, and then we're gonna see if we can swing it. Now the other side. I probably could get the impact in here, but oh well. We're just gonna grab the sway bar and make sure we can sway. And you know what? It's a little stiff, but there's no binding, so I'm gonna call that good. Now, we gotta put the end links back on and torque it to 80 foot-pounds. That's all torqued. Now, we're gonna try and do some measuring. So, as far as I know, the frame is not completely symmetrical, but I'm just gonna measure from a few points and see how they add up. The wheels are mostly straight. No, let's see from the height of the radius arm. Looks like, about 21 to the end of the tread right there. Oh, jeez. Let's see here. You can see it's a little less, it's like 20.5. So I think maybe a little more because I don't know if you can tell, but it might be turned a little bit this way. So we'll call it like 20 3/4. So we're pretty close. You know, a quarter inch isn't nothing when it comes to alignment. It'll probably make it feel pretty shit. But I think we can just go for a test drive once we torque him down. If it's not super shit, then we're fine until the alignment. Just torque it down. I think this is a 30. Yeah. Hopefully I got that tight enough so that I don't have to hold the back nut. Nope, we're spinning, so. Try not to fuck up your fender like I am. There we go. Okay. Got that sucker down. 406-ish. Wheels are torqued. U-bolts are not quite torqued. Even the deep socket won't get up all the way. I was able to get it most of the way, and I probably could have torqued it, but the socket was only covering about half the nut, so I didn't want to torque it down like that. It's probably okay, but yeah, I'm no mechanic, so it's not going anywhere. We're gonna have to cut those bolts a little bit before we torque them, but let's take her for a drive. Wonder what happened here. Some sort of creature got in there. Probably gonna want to move this too. Okay. When you get in and after you lift the front, you might see a bunch of shit pop up saying it's not working. Okay. So far, no clunking, screeching. It's good. Let's see how the steering wheel is. I think it's pretty off. Yeah, you can see we're like brakes still work. It's good. Still not hearing any suspect noises. No clunking, no screeching. Get some good bumps there. Didn't hear anything. I'll call that mostly a success. Also, nothing was popping up here, which is good. Okay. checking the def, guys. Don't worry. Annoying. I don't know why I care. These wheels are getting replaced today, probably, but whatever. I am selling these. Hopefully it'll pay for a little bit of the new wheels and tires. 2,000 miles on them, or however many you probably saw in there. Like maybe 3,000 miles on them. Hey! Hey! Quiet. 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 Oh yeah? Oh yeah! Let me tell you, it's much better than the first time I took it around the block when I finished up the front. You know, it makes sense. I don't know why at the time I didn't think you should finish the back before you really start judging how it rides, but something I didn't show. I really should have got it on camera. I wanted to get it on camera. The main thing, it's really dark in there. So the main thing that I was adjusting in terms of steering was the drag link, which I'm showing you right now. If you didn't know, that's what a drag link looks like. You know, I got this all together. The truck was pulling to the right a tiny bit, and the steering wheel was pretty far to the right. You just undo this bolt, and then this thing will slide down this tube. Then you loosen those two bolts, and you can actually turn that whole collar. And then, oh yeah, so you're gonna want to put your steering wheel to its neutral position when you park the truck. So like, you know, when I was driving straight, steering wheel would be like that way. So you get the steering wheel in that position when you park the truck, and as you're working on the drag link, the steering wheel is going to move. You kind of just crank on it until it looks straight. Then you take her for a drive, see how it feels. We need to torque these down, but let's see. Yeah, you can barely see that, huh? But the threads are way too long to torque it. So I'm gonna have to cut these down and then torque them. All right, so I mean, I don't know, but this thing was doing a real shitty job. You know, the Dremel cutoff wheel got through it more. This little thing, this did it better. I mean, I might have to go in there with this. Okay, so stopped raining. I backed her up into the garage. So let's see, I got some new shit. We'll see how this does. I would say I have high hopes. Alright, so we are on the way to pick up the wheels and tires. We cut the U-bolts down. Really shitty job, honestly. The angle grinder was not working well. Those cutoff discs really sucked. I have more of a metal disc. That was working a little better. It was actually getting through the bolt, but it was throwing off a ton of sparks. I did not want to deal with, one of them hitting a line and putting a hole in it. The Sawzall worked really well, actually. I did not think it would be able to get through those thick-ass bolts, but it did. So we got those off. We got the U-bolts torqued. Everything's torqued now, everything's set. Driving really well. Pretty happy with how it's driving. Surprised how much just the Fox shocks are doing to sort of tame the leaf springs back there. About to get the new wheels and tires in. Excited. It's gonna add a few more inches. Which is not really what I was looking for. I really only lifted it so that I could get the bigger wheels and tires in because, well, the wheels are actually smaller, the tires are bigger. I'm trying to put as much rubber between me and the road as possible. That'll do a lot to soften it. Once we get off of these stock 33s that are at like 80 PSI, I think it's gonna be a lot better. We'll do a final ride quality test when everything's in. I'll get you guys back when we have them on. Alright, 2 hours later we got the wheels and tires on, and they look great. They look sick. Oh, a lot taller. I think I almost got as much height off of the wheels and tires that I did from the whole lift kit. Oh man, they look great. No rubbing at all. I'm really happy. It rides, it's not an insane difference, but it does ride better. There's more bounce to it. I'm not sure, let me check. I'm not sure what they filled the tires to. Yeah, they did. Okay, so they put it right where we were before. We're 60 in the front and 80 in the back. So we air down maybe the back tires especially a little bit, and we'll be golden. We will be golden. All right, we'll get back and I'll show you how they look. So here she is, all done. We went and got the alignment. We got the new wheels and tires, 37s. I think they look great. I think they look sick. Look a little big for the amount of lift we did, but no rubbing whatsoever. It's tight. It's really tight. There might be a tiny bit of rubbing that I just don't feel or hear, but they fit. And I think if I were to do it over again, I might go 35s. But I don't know. This looks so good. And after the lift was in, but we didn't have the new wheels and tires, it didn't feel that much taller. I mean, you could notice it was a couple inches, but after getting the 37s in there, it's really tall, guys. I mean, I'm a pretty tall guy. I'm 6'5". I used to be as tall as this thing. I could almost see over. But now, I mean, you look. The hood is like, it's hot. It's hot. The hood is chest high for me now. And it was a little awkward getting in before because I mean, this was so low for me. It was like, I almost wanted to skip that and go right up here. But I mean, you can see it's pretty perfect now. And the new wheels, they do make a really big difference in the ride. They're still aired up pretty high. Like they're at like 70. Factory ones were at 80, but yeah, don't worry about that. Pretty sure it's just the air conditioner leaking, I hope. But yeah, I've been driving it around. Feels great. It does feel great. Been checking everything periodically. Nothing seems fucked up. Nothing's gotten loose. No weird noises, no clunking, no screeching. I'm glad I did it myself. It took a long fucking time, but you know, I learned a lot. I know basically what everything does in the front end now. If I have a problem down the line with the lift kit or just in general, I have a pretty good idea of how everything works. So I'll be able to figure that out. It looks a little silly. It looks a little silly right now with like the bronze wheel and all this chrome everywhere. And I mean, at some point I am going to do something about all this chrome. I'm not sure what. You know, I know they sell like blacked out badges and whatever. So I don't know. I still haven't decided if I'm going to wrap this or like paint it or just get a new grill and then bumpers. But I mean, bumpers they're so fucking expensive. I think they're overpriced. I mean, I will probably wrap the bumpers because I might also get fender flares. Not because I think they look cool, but the zero offset wheels, these are MR323, I want to say, with the 12.5 KO3s. There is like maybe 1.5 inches or 2 inches of poke. So that's gonna throw all kinds of shit onto my door. You can kind of see already this stuff getting thrown. So I could like PPF or something. I could do the fender flares. Mud flaps aren't. I'm making mud flaps anyways because I've heard kick all kinds of stuff up here and you can rust stuff out. But definitely going to get an upgraded steering stabilizer. I'll probably do the Carly steering stabilizer, the upper one, because even from factory, but especially now, after the alignment even, there's like a slight right pull to the steering. And also there's like, there is more feedback now when you're steering. You definitely feel more of the road fighting you. So the steering stabilizer is probably a must-do upgrade after you lift the truck. I'll show you. So, they don't say anywhere in the instructions to do this, but pretty obvious. I mean, they give you a greaser, so you're gonna wanna grease that up. I just used red and tacky. It's just a fucking bushing, a ball joint. I don't think you need any kind of special grease.
Who do you want to message?
Oh, Siri, I don't want to message anybody. I want you to shut up. Where was I?
To who? To who?
Where was I? Oh yeah. So we greased these up. The only other thing is, I'm already starting to fucking lose my paint here. So I don't know what happened there, but I have to go and paint back over that. Oh, I'm just kidding. So yeah, next thing I do is probably gonna be try and learn how to wrap as much of the chrome as I can. So we're gonna wrap that. Don't know what color yet. This will probably be a pain to wrap around all this shit. So I might just spray paint this. Probably will just spray paint that or get new running boards. I mean, who the fuck? It's a running board. I don't need the power fucking 9,000. So no, on second thought, I'm not getting new running boards. Just gonna spray paint that. Truck is done. I hope this helped anybody who has to put in a lift like this. And if you were thinking about paying someone to do it, I get that, it's fair. But I hope that this video shows you even an idiot can do a lift. And it'll only take you like 16 or 18 hours the first time. And I think it's worth it. It's pretty fun. I think more people should work on their trucks or vehicles in general. It's a good skill to have, and you save a little money. Thanks for watching.